Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me again today. A little bit different today. What I want to show you is a book with a difference. Okay, here's a book. For those of you that watch all the time, you might notice that this was the book that I gutted last week in our how-tos and what's it for. So what it is now is a box. This is so easy to do. Now, if you're like me, you'll have lots of books gutted that one day will become journals or one day you're not sure of because you wanted the papers out of them. This is a great way to redo those. They can still go in your bookcase. They look lovely, but what they are a secret little... Now, even a present, you think of that filled with chocolates as a gift. How easy. All right, not going to need much. We're going to need a book, a little bit of paper if you want to cover the inside cover and the back cover, some chipboard and a little bit of paper to change that, to cover that, and some glue. That's it. This is very, very easy. Right, so what we're going to do to start with, I'm going to pop this one over here. Now, I've grabbed another book and I literally bought this book at one of the book fairs for $1 or $2 just because of the cover. But it's been sitting here for ages, so I might as well use this cover for this. So I like this bit. It'll look lovely in a bookcase. What we're going to do, if you haven't seen how to do it already, is to gut our book. Now you'll notice that you've got a little bit of ribbon up here. This is where it's attached to the book down through here. Same on this side. Down through here. Now this one has a really nice covering anyway, but I'm going to cover it just to show you how to actually cover it. I'm going to try and work quick. I've brought the camera down lower this time so that you can actually see really well what it is I'm doing. So I'm just running my blade down there, and what I'm doing is splitting the two. There'll be a webbing of some sort down there. You should hear it. Can you hear it? Hang on, I'll bring it close to the microphone. Can you hear that? It's because there's a webbing in there. That's what's joining it all to the book. But we want, or to the cover, we want to take that whole thing out without cutting in to our actual cover. So do watch, don't go, you know, like a bull at a gate through it. Just take your time with it. And slowly just take it out. If you need to do little shallow cuts, do those. So there's one side out. There's our book. We're going to turn it over, do the other side. You will have seen me, if you've been following me for a while, you will have seen me gut many a book. It's just mainly getting it started, making sure your blade's not going through this bit. I'm a righty, so I'm going to actually turn this part around so that I'm going from the top, and I've only got this sitting beside me. There you go, and I just broke it. So we're going to fix that. I just put my finger straight through the other end. But we can fix that. Anything is fixable. Straight down, taking in little cuts. So we've got that bit coming. There we go. You can hear that going. Straight down, if you can hear it over our dog. People walking dogs out the front. Right. There's that one. Okay. That's my back. You can see that I've ripped that. I'm going to mend that before we go any further. And it's mendable. Don't freak. It is mendable. All it is that. So let's fix that before we go any further. My front one is fine. This one's all going to be attached together anyway. So what I'm going to do is put some glue down there and glue that back together. Now I'm using different glue. You know how I told everybody all these different glues last week and all the rest? I'm using a different glue for this one because I found this worked the best when I was playing with this book this week. I'm using good old super glue. I know, right? I found that this dries even quicker than my E600. So I need to pull off all my dried bits around there now. So because I didn't want to be sitting there hanging on to it for so long, I just got some I actually went and got the super glue out of my husband's model kits. I did tell him, and luckily we had it in the house, and I found that it glued really, really quickly, which is what it's meant to do, of course. Set that up, and I like these little ones that stand up. So I'm just going to hold that in like so. It won't take long to glue, truly, really. Now I've got another couple of these in different colours that I don't know where they're from. I don't even think they're that old, but they just work a treat for this. So bear with me. Otherwise, we'll go and grab another one. I've got lots of them. I do. Put you on there. You there. So much for going, let's go really quickly. Maybe I was going too quickly. Right. Glue that back in there like so. This will all be attached back together anyway when we're putting it all together. So I just want to hold that there at the moment, and I'm going to grab a clip. Hold it in. Just a normal clip. I've got clips galore here. All sorts of sizes and shapes and all the rest. That one just there, you're sitting beautifully. Right, so while that's drying, we're going to start to do this. Right, chipboard. With your chipboard. Now, when I did my original one, I used too thick a chipboard. Truly, really. I wanted to glue a couple of pieces of chipboard together, just so it was stronger. So I went and found really strong, really wide chipboard and glued that together. It's over the top. You do not need it that thick, okay? So I then went and found this, which is the size of most chipboard. It's probably, you know, 1 mil, 2 mil wide, 1 millimetre wide, I reckon. It's only, yeah. So what I did was I cut a 12 by 12 piece that I had in half and glued those two halves together. That is more than enough for what I want, okay? So that's nice and sturdy, and it's going to hold everything together. That's all the thickness that you really need. And I just used my glue stick to glue those two together. You can see I didn't cut it in half perfectly. Doesn't matter, we'll work off this side, okay? When we're actually doing this, the other thing we'll need, so we've got our book, we've got our chipboard glued together, or a big thick piece, doesn't need to be glued. You're going to need some paper for the front, for the inside front cover, if you want to do the inside front cover, which is that one. And I want this one to go over anyway, as I said, to cover in here and this bit of mucking around here. So that'll all go straight over, and I've cut that fairly well to size already. This is a piece of old newspaper, the ones that I've got in the packs in my Ko-fi shop. So you'll find them in there if you're after those. They're from 18 something. They're from 1896. Right, and then I've got good old music sheet. I like all these colours to go on the back cover. Okay, the only other thing you'll need is something to cover your chipboard with. And this is out of the Witchcraft You Do Grunge Book Covers and Pages Set 1. And I love these because they go with all the types of papers that I use. I use that on this one as well. That's one of them as well. but one of the different pages. So that's all you're going to need. That's it. One more thing, just a little piece of cardstock to use as a measure. Right, so we're going to move these ones away for now. What we're going to do, while that's drying, we're going to glue this piece on. So I want this to cover these pieces. Now, as I said, this one's really nice anyway. You probably don't need it. It might be nice just to put something in the centre as though we were doing a journal. But to show you, I'm going to actually stick something on here. So that's cut to that size, but I'm going to take it over to about there. So I'm just going to put a finger mark there, round about, which will cover into here, which will hide the edges of that. That can be just trimmed on your trimmer. Now, it's pointless me telling you sizes, because if your book is different, all your measurements are going to be different. So it's literally just measuring your book. To measure your book, all you're doing is measuring the side bits. So from where this has been cut off, so it's about 4.5 inches. And I need a bigger ruler for that. And I think it's about 7 3/4 inches. So if we go down, about 7 3/4 inches, or, 19.5 centimetres, a bit over. But that's this book, not any other book. So it's always wise, just measure from there to there where your inside back paper is. That's what you want to cover, if you want to cover any of it. So I want this one on the front, and I want him to sit in here like so, and he will go all the way over to there. To stick this down, I've found the best way, and again with the different glues and all the rest, I'm going to use my double-sided tape, and I'm going to use my glue stick, and I've pulled out a new glue stick for this because the other one's getting fairly close to finishing. This is very old newspaper, as I said before, so we need to be careful with it. We don't want to tear it. So when you're using double-sided tape with it, just be super careful, okay? Try not to grab hold of the tape once you've got your backing off, because it will tear your fragile vintage papers really easy. You don't have to use vintage papers. This is me. I like to use vintage papers. By all means, use some of those scrapbook papers that we've got sitting there. Use up any papers. Use up digitals. The other ones that I used in my first book, the front cover, because it was a boring cover, just a straight plain cover. I used a digital that I'd had sitting around for ages. I don't know whose it is, I'm afraid. Just said scraps on it, and I went, bonus. That works a treat. And the inside one was a digital collage, but it's not one of mine. It's, I don't know. Look, they may be Graphic Fairy. They may be Tracy Fox. They could be anybody. So if they're yours, I'm sorry. I haven't remembered. I've had them sitting in my backgrounds folder for quite a while. Now, what I want is my glue sheet. So I'm going to sit this on like so. I'm going to push that down really well, and I'm going to take my backing off. Okay, just carefully taking my backing off without hanging on to where that tape is off. If you're using scrapbook paper or any other type of paper, you don't have to worry too much. Okay, I'm going to sit that one way up there, and when I use my glue stick, I'm going over my double-sided tape, because that will make it easier to maneuver. Okay, so this is a brand new stick. We'll see how well it runs. Is that the right word? See what I mean about hanging onto them? Once you've got glue stick onto them, they're easier to take your fingers off. But to start with, just watch what you're doing. You can fix anything in this, in papercraft. You truly can. Don't fret if you've done anything. Just rethink and look at it from a different direction, and you'll find that there is soon a way that you can fix it. We're going to turn that one round and see again. I've got my hand stuck on that. Right. Make sure I'm going over my double-sided tape because I really want my tape glued so that I can manoeuvre as I'm putting it on. Right. There we go. Leave that one. I'm going to start over here and I'm going to move my clips as I go. So I'm just going to start in this top corner. Place it in the top corner. Sit my finger on it and hold it down, and then I can move it as I go to go down the side. Okay, moving it down. Look at that. Okay, and now I can flatten it out as I go because that tape is not hanging on for dear life yet because it's still got wet glue on it. Okay, I'm going over that bit. I push it right into that, which will help seal that bit up a little bit as well. I'm going to undo that just while I put it in there. Pop that bit back on. Do this side. Push that down. So now it's covered all of this raggedy edge, okay? You won't see a great deal of it anyway because it'll be bent over. Let's have a look at the back of that. Oh, that's looking pretty good. All right. So it'll sit like that. You won't see any of that, okay? My inside one will have to fix that. We'll pretend that it's just on there. These things happen, and they usually happen because we're on film, okay? So my music sheet's going to go next. My music sheet's the same. I'm going over that. You could do the whole thing in the same paper if you liked. I just wanted something a little bit different. I'm going to take my music sheet to about there. That one, just there. That should be that one. Like that. Okay. So my music sheet is going to sit in here and here, like so, and that'll come over that and hold all that in together. All right, what I might do, just to make sure that that's going to cling to each other and open and close, yes, I'm going to put some washi tape on that little bit first. Can't beat washi tape, right? Washi tape or any of that sort of thing. You could do book pages again, which will keep hold of it as well. But washi tape works so well because it gives you that option of moving it. I'm just looking for a wider one that I can cover. Let's have a look. What's a wider one in there? Sorry, I've pulled open the washi tape drawer and the dog has tried to grab all the washi tape. Right, so I've got a really wide one here that I love. But we're not going to see it. It's just that I love it because it's wide. So it's going to go about there. I can lift this back up to about there. Just going to chop that. And I'm going to pop some glue on it as well. So this is why I like washi tape. I can just keep moving it to wherever I want. I'll turn that way so that it's sitting here. I'm going to take you away. No, I'm not. I'm going to have that bit. Let's see. I don't want to take it over this. I'm just going to trim that a little bit straighter. And look at that. That's pretty good. Now I want to pop some glue on it. So we're just going to run that down there. You're still in shot there. Because I've moved the camera closer, see, I shouldn't have because I'm doing so many mistakes. But it's good that I leave these in because that's life. We all make mistakes. It's just one of those things, guys. It's going to happen. I don't want it to come past there, so I want it further out here. Sorry, I'm talking while I'm explaining what I'm doing. All right, putting that down. because that's going to get covered up with my music sheet anyway. Fold this back, make sure I've got that in the right spot. It's so close to being glued it's not funny, so this will just help it in its merry little way, won't it? There we go. Now, I showed my husband this book last night when I came home from work and I was playing with it. And I said, what am I going to call it? Book Illusion was what he came up with. Book Illusion. So here is my Book Illusion. Right, this one's going to stick in there. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pop our double-sided tape and our glue stick. How are we going for time? 20 minutes, beautiful. All right, now this is vintage music script paper, music paper, whatever you want to call it. But it's not as fragile as that newspaper. So I don't have to be quite as careful with this one. Right, one more little bit. And then straight down there. And then we'll go back with our glue stick again. So I very rarely take measurements. It's just, yep, to here and to here and to here. Right, taking off our double-sided tape, just give it a good push down again. Peeling all that off. And that one. Right, back out with the glue page. Sitting that up so I don't keep getting it on. Right, back with the glue. Across there. Making sure you've got your double-sided tape done. So you can see that this one's nowhere near as fragile. I can go harder with it. I can really get stuck into it. So it is old, but it's nowhere near as old. Like me. All right. There you go, see? See what happens when you get your hands on it? And in a minute I'll put glue over that and it won't make any difference. And I can just pick it up and move it to my will. Right, back to this one. I'm going to go that way. This is my back cover, so I need it up the right way. Down in the corner again. I can move that to where I want to. Back up following that one. Flattening it out as I go. And then down in that bit. Okay. Right. So the inside of our book is covered, just like if we were doing a journal. But here's where we get a little bit different. Okay. So what we want now is something like this. Okay. It's just a piece of cardstock. And what we want to do is see what we've got in here. So if this was sitting like that, like it had an actual book in it, so I've got my little one, it's going to be about 1 1/8. So I'm going to make that a little bit larger. And I'm just going to trim this down to 1 1/8 to start with. 1 1/8. I'm going to go a little bit wider, just under 1 1/4. Sorry, I know, I keep switching from millimetres to centimetres, don't I? I'm shocking. 3 centimetres is what I've gone to start with. And what we want to do is see how you can see that is already too wide. This is why we don't want to muck around with our chipboard just yet, because it gets hard to cut when you've got thick chipboard. So let's go back to our 1 1/8. Like so. Just so that we know what it is we're cutting in our chipboard. Right. So if this sits in here, that's looking pretty good. This is not quite, it's still a little bit wide. That's all you've got to worry about. Once you've got this measurement, it's easy. So I'm actually going to start trimming this down now with my ruler so that I can just take off a little bit at a time because it's getting too small for my trimmer. And then I can use this as a guide. So again, sit it back in. Look at that. That's the width that we want our chipboard because that's how we want it to finish sitting up. So this width will now be 2.75 centimetres or 1 1/16, is it? Or we just use that as our guide. Simple as that, really. So if we pull over our chipboard, this one's long enough that I can take my 2 short ends off here and then I can cut my 2 long ends. So my short ends, I can just sit this on here like that. This is now my guide for all of them. Pencil mark here. Now if you've got a really good guillotine, rotary cutter, they may actually cut this for you. If you don't, you will need to use a blade because your scissors are not going to cut the mustard with this one. Okay. Just double check. That doesn't look straight, does it? 275. No, it's not. What have we done there? There we go. Right. You will need to take short, shallow cuts. Okay. Which is why I went to a thinner chipboard as well, because it's still not through. It takes a bit to get through. Once I've taken my knife over and the blade is just running straight through that line, it gets easier. There we go. So there is one. We want 2 of those at that width. So if I can sit that one on there, I'm going to turn that round that way. And I'm just going to follow this one as a rule. So then they're exactly the same. All right. So I can just start making my first cuts with that one. Once I've got my cuts going, you can just sit your blade in there. So much easier. Almost done. So they're my 2 side bits. They will be cut to length. My longer sections, blur, of course need to be longer. They're going to be the same width though. So I can sit that there. Start that. And I can keep just working on my top section until I get my line in there. Bring it down to the end and over. So much easier. Sit it in. Sit it in, Kylie. Right. Once I've got my line going, oh, that's a bit of a wonky line. And down. What do we got? There we go. And we want another one of those. Like so. And there. And that's why you do short, sharp ones. Short, sharp ones. Just short, shallow ones. Because if your blade slips, You haven't cut across. Now you can just follow that line down. Then it's a matter of just cutting these to length. So our shorter ones are going to go the entire depth of the book. Our long ones, I can put that for another book. So we've got 2 long ones, 2 short ones. Our short ones are going to go from start to finish here, right? So they will need to be cut to size. One of our long ones is going to sit in here, up there like that, okay? Got it? Short ones are going to sit in here. This one will butt into that one. Does this make sense? Can you see that if I sit that there? Yeah. This will sit here. This will butt into that one. This will lift up there. So if we've lifted this one up, I hope I'm making sense. I did only do this last night. I just went, oh, I like this idea. Let's do this idea. This looks great. Sitting that, so see where this seam is? Sitting that here. Making a pencil mark where my papers finish. Okay, that's what we're going to chop off. There's one. Sitting it at that seam. My paper finishes there. Now sometimes these are on angles, which is why I've done these separately. Okay, so that's my bottom one. I'm going to chop that bit off, and I can just sit that on my grid. And hopefully I'm straight, because I can't see that end. Am I straight? And again, I just want to start it, and then I can just finish it off with my blade without having to have that ruler balanced on that section. Okay, bottom one. Top one, same thing. Line it up on your grid, close to. That's that one. Make a few cuts with your blade. Right, now you can start to go through that one. I was going to have all these cut, but I thought, what's the point in having them all cut? Because this is what you need to see, because technically this is the only thing that this is all about. This one's going to go here, right? So he's going to finish just inside there. That one's going to finish just inside there, like that, right? One of these is going to go here, in between this one, so it'll butt into that. And it's going to come back a little bit for where this one butts into it, on that. I know it's looking very complicated. It's not, truly. Truly, truly. So that'll butt into that. That'll butt into that. I'm now hanging on to that. And I'm just going to put a pencil mark in there. Okay? So you can still see, if I sit that there, if I sit that one on there, like that, so that he's against that, butted against that, so I know he's right. This one, if I sit him on that music paper, there he is with that pencil mark. Okay, so what we're going to do, again, sit him on there. Now this one was our front one, wasn't it? So I'm classing this side as the front. Like that. So we might put a little front. Okay, so I've got front, top, back, and back again. So exactly the same thing as we just did for our front. Technically, it could be the same size. Let's have a look. Let's just have a look. That's going to fit in there. That's going to fit in there. And that should come in just a bit from there to there, which means that it'll butt onto that. Yes. And it should butt onto that. Yes, it does. That one will be slid in there. So they're the same size. That's always handy to know. Front, back. I've just made the measurement. My measurements. My measurements, my way. Right. There we go. They're all done, dusted. Now all we want to do is cover them. I'm going to sit that one there. I'm going to get out my grunge paper. So this one was our back. And all we're going to do with it is we're going to glue one side, sit it on so that it's nice and even up there, and then we're going to roll it over and then do the next one. They are so easy to do. Better put that, otherwise I'll glue everything, won't I? So again, just your double-sided tape, just your glue stick. You're not going to need double-sided tape for these because they're glued around each other. So, right to the edge, making sure you haven't got the white edge. There you go. No, it finishes there. I thought I'd measured it so that it finished on that edge, and I didn't have to chop that off so that I could see what it was. Now I just want to flatten that out a little bit, like so. Right, now I'm going to glue this bit and we're going to roll it over. Okay, before I do that, I'm just going to trim down there so that I can see where it is again. So I'm going to glue this bit. Try not to put glue everywhere else, because this is me and I glue everything. Right. And now I'm going to glue my fingers, so I'm going to roll that over, keeping it nice and straight, not pushing it right up as I do. Turning it over. There we have it. Right. You can see if you've got any little bubbles in it. I've got glue everywhere. So there's no more bubbles in that I can see. And now we're just going to trim this off. Watch it because it is wet. Normal times when I'm doing something like this, I will wait till my glue dries so that my blade doesn't tear the paper, because it will occasionally want to tear it along there. Okay, so there's one. Straight up there. One. Let's do our front one now. So we know that that was our back, and I'm going to leave that there. I'm actually going to put it to the back of the book, just so it's sitting there. This one's my front. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. You can put me on fast forward, that's fine, if you haven't already. Oh, that's a bit sad, isn't it? Right. Make sure I've got my white edge to the white edge side. This one. Down. Try and get a bit of the glue off yourself, Kylie. Give that a push. Look at that. Such an easy way to cover these things. Just roll them over, because that way you've then got the top bit covered as well when you open your book. Now you'll only see two edges, and I'm going to ink those. So rolling it over. Holding it really tight as you go. Am I anywhere near shot? Sorry. I keep bringing it. God, I've got so much glue in my hands. And that one. Right. Oh, see what happens when you don't do that? It's far better off to do it when you're actually folding them. Take the glue off. Right. I might actually sand that one just to get that off there. There's my sandpaper. Right. just like that. Might be a bit easier. So that's the front. See, there's ways to get around everything. Now, our little ones, back first, because we did the back first on the other one. Our white side, we should have room for all of these. Right, that one. I'm too frightened to look at the time, guys. I really am. I reckon I've been way over time. No. Right, this time we'll do that. All right. So much easier if I cut it first. But as you see, if you haven't, it's all right, just sand it. You'll get a far better, softer finish if you sand it instead of trying to attack it with scissors or anything like that. I will need to get my adhesive rubber out once I've done all these, because I'm putting glue absolutely everywhere, let alone in my fingernails. Right, so down there. One more to go. This little guy is done. That was the back. So, oh, B, bottom, wasn't it? Not back, bottom for that one. And here's the top one. Right, same thing. Last one. Then we're finished with glue stick. Right. Taking that over to that. I love glue sticks because it does give me time to manoeuvre them. Down with that. Give that a push. Lovely, lovely. All right, last bit of gluing with our glue stick. Put the lid on that, Kylie, because it is done. All right. Now, the bits that are not covered, oh, everything's covered in glue, but the bits down here are the bits that are going to be adhered to those papers that we did. Okay. Right, that's that one. We can trim him off. And then we can trim that bit off. Now, the only thing you need to check is that if you've got overhangings, so like that, they will need to be trimmed because the overhangings will muck up with your measurements. If you can't get to them, get that sandpaper out again and just sand it off the edges. Okay, just like that. What do we got at the bottom? I think the bottoms are fairly good. And I'll run through and check everything. I know that side's done because we did that. And now I'm going to get my adhesive rubber out and get rid of all my glue markings. Because once they're in, I won't be able to get to them properly. So I just want to get some. Mind you, some of these are the markings that are on the paper, Kylie. Right, that's top. The bottom, we just want to double check our that one. I've got a naughty dog in the room. Nobody's paying any attention to him, which is why I keep going quiet every now and again, because every now and again he keeps coming in behind me and grabbing something, because I've had to move them all off my desk because my desk is so messy. He keeps grabbing something, one of my papers, and casually wandering out the door with it and taking it to his room, which is my daughter's room, and under the bed, which is his lair. So I've got nobody else in the house I can call him. My son's in, but he's like way down the other end of the house. So This was a beautiful book I've just seen him walk away with that I gutted last week. That was The Meanings of Flowers. And he's now got a trail of it going from here to his bedroom. Naughty little thing. It's lucky I didn't say a bad word then. Oh dear. Nobody's paying attention and Poppy's not home. So, thank you, Josh. He's got one. One will not be retrieved. I don't know. Beautiful, beautiful book. I've got some of them. All right, so the son did hear him. See, he got one. Look at these beautiful. Oh, and that was the one I folded for a... Of course he's going to get that one, isn't he? I tell you, I need a bigger room. Right, so my little ones need an edge done, okay? Because they will be sitting like so with these ones in like that. So that's the only part that you will see. So I went and used my gathered twigs, which is my dark one. I got out the monster's back. He'll be looking for something else now. Oh, he's a bad little boy. Can't find anything. Josh just picked it all up, or picked part of it up. Right, so that's one. And the same with one side of this one. Let's have a look and see if there's a really nice side. Let's go that one. So two of those are done. That's it. You've got that. You've got that. That one. That way, because this is the top that you'll want to see. They will glue together like so. Like so. This is what's going to make your box that sits in your book. Right, so we'll pull this book back out again. This one was our bottom one down here. This one was the one from in there. So what we can start with, I'm going to move the glue on, and I'm going back to my super glue, okay? Because I found that the super glue worked really, really well for this. I didn't have to hang on to it as long or anything else. So this is going to just be adhered in this corner there, following my music page. Okay, this one will go in there like so. I'm just going to show you at the moment, then we're going to play around. So that will fit in there. That will fold over. That's what we're checking. All right, so my first one. And because the super glue works really quickly, I don't have to worry about clamping it, holding it, or anything else. You'll see it all come out. And you think, there's no way that's going to stick that. I was so surprised. I'd given up because I didn't want to sit here all night long trying to work on my E600 or any of my other glues. And I just went, that's it. There's got to be some super glue in the house. Of course there was. All right. So we're going down into that corner and holding that. And all you're going to do is hold it up just a little bit. Okay, you don't need to hold it for long. You want to try and hold it fairly straight. This one is a little bit bent. I'm going to bend that back over. This one's going to go in here like that. That one's going to go up there. So I'm going to stick this one in next. Look, I can let that go. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Go on, tell me the super glue's running out now. I didn't actually check to see how much was left in there. I just went, oh, my husband's got super glue somewhere. I even found the box that he had it hidden in. He's doing a Titanic model. Big one. Right. And down there. Okay? Because we want to attach this to this one. So we're going to follow music notes. We're going to squeeze it against that one. Follow the music notes up on there and just hold that against that for a little minute. That's it. The super glue doesn't take long at all. And it's done. Oh, I know, right? This one I always leave to the end to put in. So we're going to put this one in now, and this one's going to go on the outside because we've covered this, and it'll butt up against that and go down there. That one is longer. That is longer. Why have I not? Did I cover the wrong ones? This is strange. How did we do that? Which one's it meant to be, guys? Not this one. Yeah, look. Should have put this one in first, shouldn't I? All right, we're going to attempt to move this. And I put my pad in there. A couple of them. I've got a couple of these little suckers, which will lift that up to the height that it needs to be. I'm going to find that. Told you, we can fix any mistake. Can you see what I'm doing? I'd like you to see what I'm doing. Right, so that's holding that up like that. And I need to trim this back about there, don't I? I reckon. Let's have a look. Yeah, it is. It's about there. So we're just going to do some shallow ones. What I'm doing is I'm holding it down with my finger so that I'm not pulling it away from the book because I don't want any of my papers to rip. I'm cleaning off my blade. So my little finger is holding it down. I'm assuming you can see that. I'm hoping you can see that because I want to show you how to fix. Things happen. We all make mistakes. The problem is whether you are determined to fix your mistake or whether you're just going to chuck it out. Okay? Fix them. Always have a shot at fixing them. Don't ever give up until you've taken it beyond, well and truly beyond. And yes, we'll all do it. We'll all have projects where we've taken them too far and tried to fix too many things. But there's no reason why we shouldn't have a go at fixing them. This is why I do live. They're not quite lives, but they are done in one shot. I don't edit, I don't chop, and I don't change because I need you to see that mistakes happen. No matter how long you've been in the craft, how long you've been doing this. There you go, look at that. I need you to see that mistakes happen. We all get sidetracked, things occur, we walk away, we go and cook tea, we go and do all sorts of other things. Right, so I have pulled that off now. Let's see. Yet the one I've been fiddling with is still on. Could still be a little bit too big, couldn't it? It is still a little bit. That's because it's not straight. I wonder if I can pull that off. Without ruining my paper. There we go. Cool. All right, I need to straighten that. Let's see if I can. Told you the super glue is sturdy. Don't reckon it's gonna. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Don't want to. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Right. So let's have a look at this now. Make those two the same. That's really weird. Right, and that will straighten that up, won't it? There we go. Right, so starting from scratch. There we go. Now we'll go again. Right, as we were. And I haven't been capping that super glue. But I always sit here with pins. I always have pins beside me for just such an occasion. Come on. That's open. That's looking a little bit empty, is what it is. Right. All it's got to do is get round these three, doesn't it? Here we go. Just don't let me sit it upright. This can be fiddly when you're trying just to do this edge piece, but just do it as best you possibly can. As I said before, I tried with my A600. It just takes too long to dry. You're sitting there forever. My normal white glue, my fabric glue, all sorts of glues I tried, and I found that the super glue was the best. I'm running out of shot, aren't I? Sorry. All right. I've got to leave that sitting down this time. That end is to that end. Move that up so you can see what I'm doing again. Back a little bit if I can. Not quite that far. There you go. Right. Now we're going to do this one. See if I can do this one-handed while I'm hanging onto this to save some time. What do you reckon? Or is this just really asking for trouble? I think this is just asking for trouble. Once you've got the box and it's self-supporting, it's all fine. It's just getting it all there to start with. So here we go. And I need that side done too, don't I? No, I want this side actually, because I want that on the outside. I've decided now. I've got a little bit of glue and stuff on the other side, so. Oh, I'm shaking. Come on, glue. Don't fail me now. Wouldn't you think before I started I would have checked to see how much glue? I checked my glue sticks. Got another glue stick in, but I didn't even think to check this one. Yep, that's the side I want. I want this side attached to the bit we've just done. Need to turn this around. And I'm going to go in now. Yep. That's a problem when I keep turning things around, isn't it? Glue those two together, like so. Now we're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gas. Right, now we're back to this little sucker. he is like that. That's my inked edge, so that's my outside edge. Oh, I'm sorry. Wouldn't you think I'd check with the goddamn glue? Here we go. Come on, give me a bubble. Give me a bubble. This was so quick last night. This was the easiest bit of all of it. Once I'd worked out the glue. I'll squeeze that. And then I'll have glue come out everywhere, won't I? If you find next week I'm still here because I'm stuck to the desk, you'll know that the super glue exploded. Okay? I could just keep, you know, voice controlling my phone to turn it on and do lives just so that I can talk to you about how I'm still stuck at the desk. I reckon that would be awesome. No, actually, it's not going to be awesome. I'm just going to have to show you how this finishes and go on to the other one that's all done. Because I can't get this glue out. And I think I have to go and buy more glue. Right. No, it's that one that I need to do. That one down here now needs glue on it. Because that's where it's being glued to this edge. We might just have to describe with the other one. Oh, I'm so sorry. What a waste. Right, that one's going to go in there like that. Okay, it'll need more glue. Later on, I will pull it apart when I get more glue and we will refix it. Okay. Yeah, that's got no glue on it. Right. What I then do is I trim this piece to fit in there. This one's actually going to fit perfectly because we want it to wedge in there and in there. It will be glued the same. Okay. Then we're going to glue all of this edge. You will then fold your book up so that it all sits in. When it's glued, what a waste. Okay. That to that. That to that. That'll all be glued. Glue the back of this. Bring your book up. Squeeze it in to that. And then what it'll be is just your top that opens. So we'll go to the proper one that I had glue for. Right. Okay. These will all be glued in place. And then your last bit will be the back side of this one, which you'll then close and just push. So you can keep it like that and you can just push against it, which will push this nice and flat. So see how nice and flat this is? It's because it's been pushed against the back side of that one. Okay, I am so sorry for what a kerfuffle that ended up being. Always remember super glue. New super glue, Kylie, next time. I know it's a kerfuffle. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll get something out of it. I really hope you go away and make them. You imagine that with... Oh, hang on. I've got, because I like lollies, I've got some Ferrero Rochers here that my son gave me Christmas time that I just keep eating. You imagine if it's a little bit deeper book. You fill that, because this one's not going to fit, because it needs to be a deeper book. But you fill chocolates or something like that. Wouldn't that make a beautiful gift? Or just imagine making a larger one and putting your journal in it. How wonderful would that be? It's one of those things, you can think of so many things to use with it. Pop them in there, pop in your journals, pop in presents, pop in all sorts of things. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for that, guys. Until next time, Happy crafting. Bye.